Love presents Begone Satan by Carl Vogel, Signs of Demonic Possession.
Hello, and welcome to my book discussion video for Begone Satan. Sorry.
Alright, so first we're going to summarize the book Begone Satan, and then we're going to talk about how all these classic signs of demonic possession are within this book, and then used again later as tropes in other stories. Begone Satan is a short retelling of a supposedly true exorcism in Iowa during the late 1920s. In short, a priest is sent to perform an exorcism in a small Iowa town on a woman who is possessed by many demons. Through his efforts, we are introduced to the classic signs of demonic possession. These same signs still appear in books and movies in almost trope-like fashion, and this book, in many ways, could be considered part of the origin of modern possession stories. When the priest first arrives, he is charged with the burden of proof. He has to make a strong case that the paranormal events taking place are not just trickery, but rather the true work of the devil. The first sign, the possessed's ability to understand languages that should be unknown to them. In this case, the afflicted woman can speak and understand Latin despite only having an elementary level education. The priest makes multiple attempts to fool the devil, but the devil spots these clever nuances each time, speaking and understanding in a foreign tongue. The second sign is an avulsion to blessed objects. Objects that have been blessed by a priest cause physical pain for the devil inside. The devil will cry out with an inhuman voice, shrieking so loudly that it can be heard by the entire town. Despite all the racket, the devil doesn't need to rely upon the mouth of the possessed, because he's quite literally a ventriloquist, and he can speak without moving the lips of his host. An additional sign of the devil's power is for him to be aware of events going on in the outside world. He can look within the hearts and minds of those around him, and despite being locked in a church fighting with the priest, he is simultaneously aware of the events he couldn't have possibly known about. What's more, the devil isn't just aware, he tampers. There's an instance detailed in this book where the devil would appear to be the cause for major and minor inconveniences in the real world, like the car of the pastor breaking down and nearly going over a bridge. The devil can also force the human body of the possessed woman to seemingly levitate. There is a shocking scene where the woman flies off her bed and sticks to the wall above the door in a gravity-defying act. The woman in the story is said to have vomited inhuman amounts despite having no solid food over many days of the priest fighting the devil for her soul, but not just regular vomit, discolored ooze. When called upon by name, we find the demon possessing the woman is more than one, but rather Beelzebub, the spirit of her abusive father, Jacob, the spirit trying to get the woman to hurt herself, and many more. Alright, so we're going to go off script here a little bit in conclusion, and one of my favorite books of all time is The Exorcist, and since I've read The Exorcist, it's led me to other things like Begone Satan and a book called The Case Against Satan by Ray Russell. I did another video on that where I compare The Exorcist with The Case Against Satan because The Case Against Satan predates The Exorcist, so if you're interested, check that one out. It's very cool. And there's a famous news story about a Mount Rainier boy who is supposedly possessed by the devil. And all of these books, right, even these books, but also the movies and stuff that come afterwards, like Amityville Horror, and all these other possession movies that come out every year, use these elements. And that's really what fascinates me, is that these elements still appear, but they've almost become tropes, right? And kind of what grabs me about that is I think the movies have started missing the point, right? Because they focus so much on the visual elements, the levitating, the puking, the head twisting, the neck cracking, and all these things. But what they're missing is the inner struggle of these characters. To me, it isn't these visual aspects that are terrifying. It's more so the influence that the devil could have in your life. And not even necessarily from like a possession standpoint, but just this sense of a loss of control and being surrendered to a being that wants to manipulate you and to hurt others and use your body as a vessel to do it. That's pretty powerful stuff, and it's really scary to think about that loss of control, whether it be you or somebody that you love, right? There's two sides of that. It's not just about, losing yourself, but losing someone that you love. And that makes it kind of deep, and The Exorcist does that very well. And specifically, The Exorcist has a moment, and that made it truly terrifying to me, where the book I'm talking about here, of course, where the priest loses any doubt that he's dealing with the devil at all. And it's done in such, like wow. He used all these signs. He's questioning throughout the whole book, okay, is this devil really speaking Latin? They play the tape backwards. It's like, no, he's not speaking Latin. And they do all these things and to try to debunk whether or not Reagan is possessed by the devil. And then there's a moment where you know. And, man, it's giving me chills just thinking about it, because it's like all that buildup and all that doubt that you go through with the characters is what makes it a powerful book and one of my all-time favorites. So again, for me, I'm not so much interested in whether or not demonic possession is a reality, so much as I am is how you use it to create a good story. But still, there is a part of me that wonders if there are unseen forces at play in our lives, like the work of the devil. And I will never deny the possibility, because we all have those moments in this experience where it seems like there's an adversary working against us, or there's a force in our life that we can't control, or that is taking control of us, or that we've seen it in others, and you're left to truly wonder. Now, it's not quite the visual experience, with the eyes rolling backwards and the vomit and all these things, but a more subtle one, in real life, I feel. So, with all that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're familiar with the signs of demonic possession. Have you ever seen any of these things in real life? I wonder. I don't know. But please let me know if I missed any. What other tropes did I miss? And if I did, feel free to drop those in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm up to 250 subscribers, halfway to 500. I just enjoy that you guys are tagging along for the ride. And I just enjoy having the opportunity to talk with you guys.
Begone Satan.